Welcome to the Business Spotlight Podcast. My name is David Beeson. I'm your host for today's conversation, and my guest today is Dan Pascone, the owner of Tailored Wealth. We're going to be talking about his business, journey to business ownership, challenges, best practices, and share a peek of what it's really like to build and operate a business. Dan, welcome to the show, and thank you for being here today. I would love for you to give us a little bit of background of who you are and tell us a little bit about your business as well.
Yeah, you bet, David. Thanks for having me. Psyched to talk to you today. Looking forward to this discussion. So a little bit about me. I had a corporate career. I've spent my entire career in financial services, but I had a corporate career prior to founding Tailored Wealth. So I started at a really large company, then went to a smaller but really growth-focused organization, and then went into founding my own business. So I went kind of progressively to smaller firms along the way. I got more and more of the entrepreneurial itch, if you will, as I grew in my career. But my first couple of stops really helped shape, who I am today and how I look to lead others, but also scale a business. So today I own and operate Tailored Wealth. We're a full-scale, comprehensive financial planning and wealth management firm. We're based in Southern Connecticut, just outside of New York City, but have clients across the country and get a chance to work with some really great people and help them achieve some really great outcomes. Our company purpose, if you will, is to help our clients to design and live their version of a rich life. So that's what I'm passionate about. It's why I started the business, and that's what gets me out of bed in the morning.
It's awesome. So, kind of set the stage for the viewers and listeners. Are you, like, generally speaking, what does your current ownership structure look like? Are you the sole founder and owner? Do you have a business partner, outside investors?
Sole founder and owner. The business is 100% owned by me. I've got different like institutional partners that help us with the infrastructure and like the services that we offer to our clients, but I own 100% of the business. We're today a single member LLC, in the future may make the transition to an S Corp. But today it's a single member LLC, no outside capital, completely bootstrapped by me.
So awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about what role you currently play in the business. Like, what does your day to day look like?
Yeah, I think a lot about that because one of the concepts that I think is most important for any business leader is to understand what are your strengths and what do you really love to do. And then how do you sort of fill the rest of the gaps and the needs of the business around you? So, what I really love to do is lead the business, lead people, and focus on client acquisition and business development. So that's where I spend the majority of my time. I act as a CEO, I act as a leader to my people, and I act as, sort of the head of business development and marketing. And I've got a talented team around me that helps to do a lot of the in-depth financial planning and wealth management work, whether it be building and designing financial plans, modeling and managing client portfolios, managing some of our administrative tasks and money management stuff, and then a great team around me on the marketing side to help us produce, I think, a pretty good stack of content that has served our community really, really well and allowed us to educate and get connected with some great people along the way.
Awesome, awesome. Just out of curiosity, whenever you talk about like money management and managing wealth and things like that, what does that look like? Like what do y'all do for your clients?
Yeah, my methodology and my framework and my belief in this business. First off, there's a lot of different ways. There's a ton of financial advisors, planners, wealth managers out there, as I'm sure you know, David. And there's a lot of different ways to administer these types of services. It's my core belief that in order to do it the right way and produce the best outcomes for your clients, you need to start every new client engagement with a custom financial plan. So that's the beginning of any client relationship that we form. We use, I think, the best software in the business to build and model out a financial plan. That process typically takes about a month in order for us to sort of gather the right information, model out the plan, present it to the clients, and make specific recommendations and put them in place based on what we found. From there, I always say it evolves into a wealth management partnership where we're essentially doing three things with a whole host of additional services that come as needed. Number one would be execute the plan. right? So just, take what we found from the plan and put it in place. And that's a constant, that's a constant goal and objective. Number two would be to, make any additional changes and advise that client on an ongoing basis, right? Handle any questions, changes, things that come up in their life, and help evolve the plan as they grow throughout their lives and their careers. And then number three would be to manage their assets. So manage any money or assets that they own in order to optimize and help them to accomplish their goals. So that's really what the relationship looks like. When you get a little bit more technical, we do everything from financial planning to portfolio management to tax preparation and tax planning. We do trusts and wills. We do compensation negotiation. We do insurance as needed. So we've really built sort of a full scale offering. But like I said, the foundation is the financial plan, and then it evolves into a wealth management partnership.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, so super cool. So it's kind of a fun question that I always love to ask. So I'm curious, based on your experience, if I were to give you an extra 10 hours back each week, how would you invest those hours? Would it be more into the business, personal life?
Well, that's a good one. I haven't been asked that question. If I were to get 10 hours back, now listen, if you asked me that question a year ago, if you asked me that question today, if you asked me that question 5 years from now, I think I would probably give you very different answers. We have a ton going on in our business right now. We just kind of significantly enhanced our services, kind of built a whole new technology infrastructure, and like integrated some key pieces of technology to create what I think is going to be the optimal client experience. So my head has really been down in that. So if you asked me today, I probably would have spent the extra 10 hours getting that done faster.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I think I would probably invest it back into leadership, spending more time leading the team, leading people. I spend a lot of time marketing the business, building the brand, et cetera. But I think I would probably invest it back into give me 5 hours leading the team and our people, and give me 5 hours that I get to spend with family. How about that?
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
Maybe I'll play a little bit more golf too, because I like golf and I don't play a lot of it these days because I'm so busy.
Yeah, no, I play a lot of golf. I try to hit the range at least once a week and try to actually play twice a month if I can.
Good for you.
Doesn't always work that way with the busy schedule. I got a wife too, and we have a kid on the way, so I know that numbers are gonna go down just
Congrats.
a little more, but
Yep,
thank you.
it will. It will. Congrats. Although you can get it in a little bit when they're young. I coach a lot of youth sports, so that takes up a lot of my time on the weekends. But something I love to do.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. So I'm curious, why'd you choose to go into business for yourself? I know you mentioned that you had a corporate background, so why'd you choose to go and start your own company?
Yeah, like I said, I've only really ever had 3 jobs. And as I went from a really big sort of like Fortune 100 institution to a smaller growth oriented organization, to running my own shop, I just got more and more attracted to all the things that come with entrepreneurship. So when I left the big company, and I spent 10 years there, and I have no regrets about it. It prepared me really, really well for what I face today. And I sort of learned the business there with a lot of great resources and training and people around me. But I got to a place where I wanted to be more involved in sort of the outcomes of the business. So I went to a more growth focused organization, and, learned a lot of like different entrepreneurial operating systems, if you will. In fact, I use EOS to run our business today. And, when you go and do that and you enjoy it, well, like the next logical step is, what if I were building this for myself and like the business that I want to be a part of versus building someone else's business, essentially, right? And I very much view our business today as like, although I'm the sole owner, I do plan over time to give ownership to other team members. I'm working on some structure for that right now, but I believe in having owners working with you in the business. I don't necessarily believe in partnerships, David, but I believe in the key team members around you having ownership of the business. And I think everyone that works for Taylor Wealth acts like they have ownership. I want to make that formal at some point in time in the future. So being able to own the outcomes is really, really attractive to me. I don't like being reliant on I like having the buck stop with me. I like having the pressure of running the show. And don't get me wrong, it ain't for everybody. And the early years were very, very tough. But I I like that pressure. So it was a natural next step.
Yeah. I gotta say, by the way, I really like y'all's logo. I see it like on the Zoom call. I really like it. It's got like a real uh pizzazz to it,
Oh,
especially the
thank you.
tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tea's got like the tea's got the like the tailor thread. I always enjoyed going to the tailor and getting stuff tailored. And so my wife actually helped me to pick that logo out a bunch of years ago. Yeah, we're happy with it.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Curious, there's every business and business journey has roadblocks and hurdles. What was the biggest one that you were challenged with?
Yeah, what I would say is I had a really, really good plan when I was at my last corporate stop. I thought it was a good plan. And what's what's the famous Mike Tyson quote? Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face, right?
Yep.
So I don't mind sharing this now. In fact, I share it pretty openly on social media. But I had equity in that business and we had a plan to get sold. So I had already started my firm at the time and sort of laid the groundwork. So I was doing it as a side hustle. And my plan was, okay, the corporate job that I was in was going to get sold and I was going to get this nice payout, right? This nice equity windfall. And I help clients a lot of times with equity today. So it really hits home because I can share my own story. And then I was going to invest that into the business and I was going to have a decent amount of capital to really pour into the business and really drive growth. Well, that didn't happen for a bunch of different reasons. The company fell on hard times, and that didn't happen. So I would say that having to really bootstrap a business without the level of capital that you were planning on, but still wanting to like invest a lot and grow pretty fast was like a really, really difficult dynamic for me because part of me wanted to grow, grow, grow. I mean, that's what I'm all about. Like I'm a growth guy, right? But the other side of me was like, well, you want to make sure that you stay in business, especially in the early stages. So it was kind of fighting that dynamic. I would say was the biggest challenge. And looking back, I'm not sure I would have done much differently. Although I maybe would have spent a little bit more time like investing in learning of business financing and business structure and whatnot, because I think there's some things I could have done better early on. But I learned a lot of really good lessons that I still apply to our business today.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Um, so what makes your business unique? How do you communicate what your business how your business stands out against the competition?
Yeah, I would say a couple of different things. Number one, what I mentioned earlier, we don't sort of offer sort of one off services. We have a very comprehensive offering. So if you come to us, I think that you get almost like 3 to 4 professionals in one. And when you are working with one professional versus 3 to 4, I think there's an ease. I think there's an efficiency to it. I think that there's a comfort level to it. But also, there's like real tangible value. Like, for example, if you have a CPA and you have a financial planner and you have an insurance person, well, you got to get all three of those professionals talking to one another, right? If you have one that does all of those things and will also do a trust for you and will do tax planning for you, well, now all of your information, all of your documents lives in one platform and one system with one institution. So I think that there's not only real tangible like planning advantages that allows us to create better outcomes for our clients, but there's just an ease of use. There's one place to call, there's one phone number to save, et cetera, et cetera. So that would be number one. Number two would be, I think, our service model. And this is a model that I built, or at least I built in my mind way before I actually started the business. And I did it I came up with the idea or the concept early on in my career. I called on financial advisors and planners. So people that are in the role that I am in today. And what I noticed, David, was some of the best folks that I dealt with, the folks that I felt like did a great job with our clients, super smart, super intelligent, super customer focused. They didn't necessarily have the most successful businesses. Why? Because they didn't necessarily have that like business development or marketing gene, right? So I said to myself many, many years ago, if we could ever separate those two roles, you could really do each of them at a very, very high level and have people that are focused on each specific skill set and be a lot more specialized. So today we bifurcate client acquisition with client service, right? So many, many folks in my business, many advisors and planners are tasked with doing both. They have to go find business and they have to service their existing customers. To me, if you have to do both, you're not doing either as much as well as you can, right? And so what I always like to say to our clients is our client service team, our planners, our client advisors, all they do is service our clients and make sure that we create the best outcomes. And then I have myself and a small team around me that's focused on bringing in new business and bringing in new clients. So I think that allows us to create a ultimately a better client service. And then the last thing that I would say is, yeah, a combination of technology and content slash education. So we do a lot around education. We do a lot around content. It's all free. At least today, it's all free. So I have this content hub called Making Sense of Your Money that you can check out. And we do a lot of education, and the education is meant to properly provide sort of financial literacy and financial content to a broad community, which I'm very, very passionate about. I don't think there's enough of it. I think a lot of it is either way too technical or way too generic and just blasted out by like a couple big marketing firms. So we like to create very, very um, specific, very, very organic, very, very detailed content that's specific to the audience that we deal with and that we work with. So I think that that allows us to, get connected with the right people, because someone might see a video or read a blog post or subscribe to our newsletter or whatever the case may be. And if the content speaks to them, they're going to get to know us at a deeper level than just, Googling financial advisor near me, which is how a lot of people start.
Yeah, no, I love that. I was actually about to transition into marketing anyway. So,
Cool.
yeah, no, my background is in digital marketing. I went to school for TV and film production and marketing. I have a
Cool.
background in affiliate marketing, and I have a
Mhm.
background in videography and digital marketing there as well. So it's really cool to hear about like y'all's content style and everything like that, where it's like really tailoring it for a specific audience. You would be very surprised with a lot of the businesses that I either talk to or have worked with, where their content's just kind of all over the place and they just mainly focus on maybe paid ads or this or that. And it's like, you really got to tailor into that market. So it's cool to hear that that's what y'all are doing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't claim to have it all figured out by any stretch, David, but I learn more and more about that stuff literally every single day. And I absorb a lot of content. I absorb a lot of information. I read and listen to a lot of folks that are in your space and what you do, so that I can best understand that. And to your point, no pun intended, based on our company name, but tailor it to our specific audience. So that's come from a lot of education and absorbing information, but also a lot of testing and understanding kind of what works and what doesn't work. And I've tested a lot of different concepts. Some have worked, some have not, and I'm going to test a whole lot more and continue to do that so that we get connected with and resonate with the right people.
Yeah. And like, understanding algorithms is super important. So understanding the algorithm of the platform that you're trying to post things on, because like, for instance, if you're doing like pure organic, like Instagram's going to be different than TikTok's going to be
Yeah.
different than YouTube, it's going to be different than Twitter. So it's like trying to understand all those. It can be a lot.
You can say that again. You can say
Yeah.
that again. And my head spins when it comes to the algorithms, and sometimes I think I figured it out, and then something changes. But we learn more and more. We test different things, and I think if you constantly put out and just think about it from a perspective of, would my target audience benefit from this information, and would they enjoy taking it in, absorbing it? If you do those things well and you test a lot of different approaches, I think eventually your presence will grow, and you got to stick to it. There's no doubt about it. Content marketing and digital marketing could definitely be a grind, and having a consistent framework. You hear it all the time about people that started and then just stopped, and they never really got to a place where they really gave it a chance.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. So out of all the different strategies and stuff that you've tried, I'm curious, what's the number one marketing strategy that you feel like has brought you guys the most business?
Yeah, I mean, I would say content in general, but if you want more specificity around like platforms, for me, LinkedIn and our newsletter have been, the biggest ones. Now, they also happen to be the ones that I've been on the longest. So again, you ask me that question a year from now, I might change. I might say YouTube, right? Because we're a little bit newer to YouTube at this point in time. But LinkedIn has been a great, great source for me. I deal with a lot of working professionals, people that are in sort of the prime earning years of their career, that are looking to sort of build and grow toward that next phase of their career.
Yeah.
I call this concept hybrid retirement. So that really resonates with our clientele. And what I I came up with that term, frankly, from just talking to a lot of people on introductory calls and the like. So LinkedIn has been really, really good. I think our audience is there. It also allows you to interact with and communicate via DM with people. That oftentimes gets misused today. I get a lot of DMs that I think are terribly written. I like to try and do it, I think, in a way that's a bit different than what I see most people doing out there. And then the newsletter has been a really, really good source because it allows us to, create different strategies that we know resonates with our target audience based on the things that we hear from new and existing customers.
Yeah, yeah, no, makes sense. Yeah, LinkedIn makes a lot of sense for like the company that you're running, just because working with a lot of people trying to balance their wealth, probably on LinkedIn, working corporate or maybe own their own business as well. So makes a lot of sense.
No doubt about it.
Um, so kind of transitioning over to like team. I know you said you have a couple team members. How big is the team of Tailored Wealth?
Yeah, so today we're growing. We've got a couple of open job positions right now, but we've got a client advisor, we've got a client service team member, we've got a trader. I have an assistant, so we've got like 5 full-time staff members, and then several other part-time or contract-based folks that help us to serve different roles as well.
Awesome, awesome. So how would you describe your leadership style in business, and has it changed over the years?
It definitely has changed over the years. The way that, like, to me, I always think about like, what do I look for in leadership? And in my last role, at its peak, I had about 400 people reporting up to me. So I've led big teams before, and I want to get back to a place over time where I have a good sized team. I have a pretty good idea of like the size of firm that I want to run. And frankly, David, I tell people this all the time. My core motivations for building the business, we all have financial aspirations and motivations, but my core motivation is to have a great, great team around me that I get a chance to work with and make better, and they make me better. And we form unique bonds and get to know each other on a personal level. So that's the kind of stuff that really drives me to grow the business. But
Yeah.
back to your question, I always felt like leadership was a combination of two things: knowing that your leader wants to get the most out of you, right? Get the most out of your potential, hold you accountable, but do it from a place of caring, right? So I think that, we see some folks err way too far toward the micromanagement. I'm doing it for selfish outcomes. If you really show them that you care about them, then you earn the ability to challenge them, which then ultimately will make them better. And so, leaders that I've worked with that I knew cared about me, but challenged me in a very professional way, were the ones that I remember most, I stay in touch with most, and I think about as like creating the most value. And so that's what I try to bring to all the folks that I work with. I'm a big, big believer in having an effective and consistent form of communication, whether it be, the types of strategy meetings that we have, one-on-one meetings, huddles and check-ins, quarterly performance discussions, whatever you want to call them. So I'm a big believer in having a consistent rhythm for communication, because I think a lot of times, things get lost just because you don't communicate effectively or you don't have like a rhythm for it. So that's something that we do, without even thinking at this point in time.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Well, if you're ready, I think we'll do a couple rapid fire questions.
Fire away, my man.
What is the key to success for you?
Getting better every day. Getting a little bit better every day. Like when I walk out of the office at the end of the day, I think the old term I used to think was walk of fame or walk of shame. I think that's like a little overblown, but I like to think to myself, what did I do today to move the business forward? Whether it be a little bit, a lot, and there's a lot of different ways that you can think about and look at that. But that's the way I think about it. What are you doing to move the business forward every single day? And I think if you do that constantly and you think about it from that lens, then you're going to have success over time.
Awesome. What is one piece of advice you have for other business owners?
Invest in learning. Invest in learning, and I'll even add to that, invest in feedback, right? So find ways to have a system where you learn on a consistent basis, and that needs to be in your business and outside of your business. And that, I think, there needs to be a kind of a healthy balance of both, and then be able to surround yourself with again, inside your business and outside your business with people that are going to give you feedback, challenge you, and come at things from different perspectives.
Awesome. What is a book or podcast you're reading or listening to right now?
I am always reading a book or podcast. I'm always reading and listening to and or listening to a book or podcast. I'll give you a couple that I've got. I'm gonna break out my phone so I can so I don't misquote them. There's one that I love in my space. The guy that's kind of like the talking head or the education guru for my business is a guy named Michael Kitces. So I listen to him very, very consistently. But there's a couple of other podcasts that I've gotten into a bunch as of late that I on the marketing side, Assistant Traffic is one that I really, really like. One that I like for sales leaders. I used to be a former sales leader, but Top Line by Pavilion. I'm a member of Pavilion. It's just a really, really good community. So I like those. I like Patrick Lencioni. So the Working Genius podcast is a good one. I've read a bunch of his books. And then my most recent read, I just finished Alex Hormozzi's third book, Million Dollar Money Models. So that's the one that I just most recently read. But we could talk about books and podcasts all day.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad just finished that book too. My dad owns a marketing company, an affiliate marketing company. So yeah, he just finished it. He's been sending me quotes about it and stuff and be like, "You got to read this." He's like, "Next time you're in town, I'm gonna let you borrow the book." It's like, "All right, dad, I got it."
I love it. Yeah, I love it. And I'll give you a little hack that he actually recommends. And I always did sort of a form of this, but I'm a big reader. And what I do now is I get the Audible and then I read on my iPad. So I read on the Kindle app. So I have the Audible going while I'm reading on the Kindle app. And that allows me to, I think, retain information better and get through books faster. So I'm able to read a lot of books in a
Yeah, especially because you got to keep up with the pace of the Audible while you're reading it. So you got to
exactly.
make sure.
Yeah, and you just retain stuff better if you do both. So I'm usually listening to a combination of listening to and reading a book, and then listening to various different podcasts. So I consume a lot of content throughout the week.
Awesome. What is this is kind of a fun question. If you had a little bit of magic dust and you could choose one spot to sprinkle it in your business and everything would be perfect, where would it be and why?
A little bit of magic dust to sprinkle into my business and make it perfect. That's a really, really good question. I'm gonna say that I guess I would want it to sprinkle it on to making like weaving all of our content and marketing sort of together. I guess that would be, and I'm working on that very, very hard right now. I think our client service is really, really strong. Don't get me wrong, I always want to make that better, but I just made a huge investment in our services and what we're delivering to our clients. So I feel pretty good about that today. So I would just weave in, the ability to kind of tie all of our marketing approaches together and make sure that they're working off one another.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good answer. Before we get to the final question of the day, do you want to share with our audience how they can follow you guys, contact y'all?
Yeah, sounds good. I mean, I'm on basically every social other than TikTok. So you can follow at Dan Pascone on LinkedIn. We are on Instagram and Facebook, as well as Twitter X. So you can follow Dan Pascone, or the firm is Tailored Wealth. Or if you want to visit our content, I mean, our website is yourtailoredwealth.com, or our content hub is makingsenseofyourmoney.com. And that's where you get to subscribe for free to our newsletter, our YouTube channel, and our podcast.
Awesome. Well, we've come to the final question of the day, and that is what is most inspiring to you today?
Give even split growth and leadership. Growth and leadership are what inspires me most. Getting better every day and having the ability to lead people and lead clients to the outcomes that they're looking for out of their life.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Well, this was a great conversation. I really enjoyed getting to hear your story. So thank you so much for sharing. Also, I just want to encourage all of you watching to save the show and come back and watch it again because Dan really did have some great insights for business. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so that you get notifications every time a new conversation drops, just like this one. Thank you to everyone who joined us today, and a special thanks to you, Dan, for being with us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, David. Appreciate you having me and enjoyed it.
Of course. And I will see you all in the next episode.